Would the children come for the children's chat?
Don't go. We have a special thing tonight. Come on up. I have to shout and use my out loud voice. Come on up. Sit around here. You might want to sit in front of me because I'm going to read a book. How many? Do you have this book? This is one of my favorite books. It's called The Giving Tree. How many of you saw the Christmas tree out in the hallway? Did you see the Christmas tree out in the hallway? Did you see that it's full of pink and yellow ornaments? Well, those ornaments have they're tags. And they have all kinds of stuff. And I want to talk to you about The Giving Tree. Do you know this book? Okay. This is about a special tree. I'm really hoping I can get through it because I usually get about 14 pages in and then I'm fine. But this is about a very special tree. We like to get stuff, don't we? But isn't it better to give stuff? Well, this is about a tree that gives and gives and gives. And right around it. Once there was a tree, and she loved a little boy. And every day the boy would come and he would gather her leaves and make them into crowns and play king of the forest. You like to pick up leaves? I like to jump in leaves. He would climb up her trunk and swing from her branches and eat apples. Like the apples? Yeah, me too. And they would play hide and go seek. And when he was tired, he would sleep in her shade. And the boy loved the tree very much. And the tree was happy. But time went by, and the boy grew older. You're getting older, you grow up. Did your mommy ever say, man, I wish you were little again? No? Your dad says that. And the tree was often alone. Now, I've got to turn this around. Then one day the boy came to the tree, and the tree said, come, boy, and climb up in my trunk, and swing from my branches, and eat apples, and play in my shade, and be happy. I am too big to play, said the boy. I want to buy things and have fun. I want some money. Can you give me some money? I'm sorry, said the tree, but I have no money. I have only leaves and apples. Take my apples, boy, and sell them in the city. Then you will have money, and you will be happy. And so the boy climbed up the tree and gathered her apples and carried them away. And the tree was happy because she gave something. But the boy stayed away for a long time, and the tree was sad. And then one day the boy came back, and the tree shook with joy, and she said, come, boy, climb up my trunk and swing from my branches and be happy. I am too busy to climb trees, said the boy. I want a house to keep me warm. I want a wife and I want children, and so I need a house. Can you give me a house? I have no house, said the tree. The forest is my house, but you may cut off my branches and build a house. Then you will be happy. And so the boy cut off the branches and carried them away and built his house. And the tree was happy. But the boy stayed away for a long time, and when he came back, the tree was so happy she could hardly speak. Come, boy, she whispered, come and play. I'm too old and sad to play, said the boy. I want a boat that will take me far away from here. Can you give me a boat? Cut down my trunk and make a boat, said the tree. Then you can sail away and be happy. And so the boy cut down her trunk and made a boat and sailed away. And the tree was happy, but not really. And after a long time, the boy came back again. "I am sorry, boy," said the tree, "but I have nothing left to give you. My apples are gone. My teeth are too weak for apples," said the boy. "My branches are gone," said the tree. "You cannot swing on them." "I'm too old to swing on the branches," said the boy. "My trunk is gone," said the tree. "You cannot climb." "I am too tired to climb," said the boy. "I am sorry," sighed the tree. "I wish that I could give you something, but I have nothing left. I'm just an old stump. I'm sorry." "I don't need very much now," said the boy. "Just a quiet place to sit and rest. I'm very tired." "Well," said the tree, straightening herself up as much as she could, "well, an old stump is good for sitting and resting. Come, boy, and sit down. Sit down and rest." And the boy did. And the tree was happy. The tree never stopped giving. In this church, we don't stop giving because Jesus gave us so much. So that is why the tree is out in the hallway. There are ornaments on it. On those ornaments are things that people need. Clothing and games and toys. Christmas is coming and we all love Christmas, right? Well, there are boys and girls and grown-ups that won't have much of a Christmas. And so we're going to help them have Christmas, okay? So here's the deal, grown-ups. Help your little ones take ornaments off the tree if you would like to participate. Buy the gift that is on the ornament. Bring the unwrapped gifts back and put them under the tree with the ornament taped to it. They are being delivered to New Hope Ministries on December the 12th. Everything needs to be here by the 11th. And it's also in conjunction with the concert, Voices of the Valley, because that evening we're taking a special offering. And the entire offering is going to New Hope Ministries to help with their ministry. This is to help with Christmas shopping. Let's all be like the giving tree and never stop giving. Thanks, guys.
Today, we're pleased to have a member of our congregation, not a guest speaker. He's a member speaker who is coming to share with us the word today. Jamen and his wife, Tracy, have come to our church, I'm not sure how many years ago, about 10. I know it was shortly after I had arrived. And he is planning on not sending his wife to the women's retreat anytime soon.
Don't do it, guys. Don't do it.
For when she comes home, she seems to be with child. He has served in our administrative council for a number of years and is active in the church and is here to share the word of the Lord with us today. Thank you, Jane.
Good morning, everybody. Okay. So as Pastor Mike indicated, it's Laity Sunday, and you might be saying to yourself, what is a laity? I am a laity. You are a laity. We're lay persons that have not been formally trained in the church. And the way that this came about was the 125th anniversary committee that Robin was heading up was sitting around the one day. We were doing remember when, and somebody said, remember when we used to do Laity Sundays? And I said, well, several years ago, I did a Sunday school presentation on the Trilogy of American Holidays. If you'd like, I'd really would like to present this to everyone. And they said, that'd be great. So what I did was I took that presentation that I spent some time with over in Sunday school. That was an hour-long presentation. I've trimmed it down. I know we're really concerned about time. It's 5 of 11. So this one's now only 45 minutes, guys. So just don't worry about that. It's not going to be a full hour. So So, as I said, this is the Trilogy of American Holidays, and this is not my own idea. If you take this and steal from me, you're stealing twice, because I took this from a radio program that I heard some years ago, and I thought it was a really neat concept. And whether or not you like this guy, the idea itself stuck with me for several years, actually, because I heard this originally in 2010, and it wasn't until 2013 that I brought the message to the Sunday school class. So this is something that stayed with me for a real long time, long enough that I would remember it to do it then, and then also remember it enough to do it now. So I hope you enjoy it. So today we're going to be a little bit more interactive than normal, and I'm going to ask you to raise your hands a lot. I know you guys don't like to talk and say amen, so I'm fine with that, but raise your hand if you've ever had any negative feelings about the holidays. It is overwhelming feelings. You just felt not in the spirit of the holidays as you should. Has anybody ever felt that way? Okay, now everybody look around. No, keep your hands up. Everybody look around, because I want you to see that you're not alone. I used to dread the holidays because it was just so overwhelming. There was so much work to do. There was such a great amount of stuff going on. And your friends don't help in this. And your family doesn't necessarily help in this. They get pressure and pressure and pressure. And while you're watching the It's a Wonderful Life on TV, you cut the commercial, and it's how you need to run to the store to buy the latest thing, or else you will have a terrible holiday. Am I right? Okay. So what is it that we do on the holidays? We focus on the meal, and it's a lovely time. We focus on the tree and the presents. It's a lovely time. And then we focus on the parties that we go to, and it's a lovely time. And they're all well and good, and it's a positive thing. But like we said, it's overwhelming. What we find ourselves on is that we're just churning from Thanksgiving to Christmas to New Year's and doing it every year and doing it again. It's a holiday hamster wheel where we eat too much, we spend too much money, and then we get ready to start it all over again. And when it's all over, what do you get? You feel fat. I mean, you don't get looking like this by just, working out all the time. You enjoy Thanksgiving. You're broke at the end of it. And after New Year's, you're cynically optimistic. You all make those New Year's resolutions. You know the ones I'm talking about, where you say, this year I'm going to give up smoking. I'm going to lose the weight. I'm going to get the better job. I'm going to stop swearing. But you don't necessarily mean it. So even though you say, I'm going to try this time, is your heart really in it? It's not. So we miss out on the real reason of the season. And we're all familiar with Thanksgiving being the celebration and the thank or blessing. The Christmas being the celebration of the birth of Jesus. And the New Year is the starting over. And while this is all true, and none of this is going to contradict that thought, what I'm saying is that these are not unique individual holidays that are here for us. They are all tied together. And what we're going to look at in the next hour is a deeper meaning to the trilogy that God put together for us. So the other thing that I'm going to do today, and this is where we go totally off in a different direction than what you would expect it. I'm going to say today that this trilogy of holidays, I want you to think about it not as something that you got to give, not something that you got to do. I want you to think about this as these three holidays are here for you. This holiday season is for you specifically. So we all know that God created everything. He created the heavens, the moon, the sun, the stars, the land, everything in here. He inspired the founding of this nation. He inspired in the 1800s the creation of the Thanksgiving holiday formally. And it's not by accident that this was done. And so go into Jeremiah. For you know that I have plans for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. I thought this was really important, and it really relates to the message of today. I thought it was so important that I had Robin print it out in your pamphlets today, so you could take it home with you and look at it, maybe cut it out, put it on your fridge, whatever. As you go through this holiday season, you know that God has plans for you, so you have hope in the future. So, as I indicated, it's not a coincidence that all of these holidays fall together. It was by design. And it's a way for Christians like us to prepare ourselves spiritually and emotionally for the promise of the new beginning, the new year. We can own that hamster wheel that we are going to be on every single year that we are here. So Thanksgiving is the first in the trilogy. And, it's coming up this week, so that's why I thought it appropriate to give the message on it. And you're going to see Bible verses about, coming together, giving thanks, worshiping, and all of this. I kind of took it in a little bit different direction because to me, it's not about the meal. The meal is separate. It's important. We enjoy it. And as my wife will tell you, it's my favorite holiday. Again. But it's about you preparing yourself. Cleaning and preparing yourself. And I'm not talking about going home and making sure that the house and the bathrooms are up to standard so you can have all the relatives. I'm talking about you personally, emotionally. Obviously, it's about being thankful and giving thanks to God and being truly humble and grateful. That's obviously part of it. But I want you to think about this holiday, this Thanksgiving holiday, as a way to prepare yourself for New Year's. Because, like I said, it all ties together. So what you're going to do this Thanksgiving is take stock of your life. Think about yourself. And the way that I'm going to start this out is to say, again, raise your hands. Has anybody had a relative or somebody they cared about that passed away and you had to at least help with clearing out their home? Has anybody ever had to do that? Okay, so you can all relate to this. We collect a lot of stuff in life. And how much of that stuff, when you're clearing out, is important? I mean, you might have Aunt Beatrice's silverware that's important, or you want to go get Uncle Joe's Bible, and then what happens to the rest of it? You have an auction. Some people come in, they pay some money for it. It's obviously not what you paid for it or your relative paid for it. And then you're left with the rest of the garbage that all you do is you bring in a dumpster, you clear it out, and throw it away. How much of that stuff right now is in your life that you trip over every single day? But more than that, what about emotionally, spiritually? You got so much clutter in there. It needs cleared out. So what I'm saying is, why are you carrying this? And you might not even realize you're carrying it, but it's a heavy load on you. So what I'm saying for this Thanksgiving is that you need to, in addition to all this other stuff, set some time aside to just figure out what's cluttering your life. Now, it might actually physically be clutter in your life. I mean, Tracy will tell you, I'm on a rampage to get rid of all the garbage in our house. But also, the emotional clutter you have in your house, in your life, in yourself. Figure out a plan and just identify it. Just identify what that is. Identify what you're carrying around within you every day and come up with a plan on what you can do to get rid of that. Like I said, it's not about the meal. It's about cleaning yourself and preparation. Which takes us to Christmas. And I know for myself, for the longest time, I thought of Christmas not as the middle child of the holiday season, but pretty much the end, because you got to do a lot of work to get to Christmas, and Christmas is overwhelming. And then once you get past that, it's just a slide into New Year's. You have a nice little party, and then you're done with it. No, it's not. It's the middle child of the holiday season. So you spent Thanksgiving preparing yourself for the renewal, and January 1st is going to be a disappointment unless you take the next step of Christmas. We know Christmas is a time of gratitude, and we like to think about the cute little baby laying in the manger, swaddled and Silent Night and all the fun stuff. But really, Christmas is as much about his death and his sacrifice as it is the birth. It's about the gift that you will get from Jesus. And the great thing is, the gift that Jesus gives you, you can get it every day of the year. It's not an Easter. It's not a Christmas thing. You can get it on days other than December 25th. It's whenever you choose. And it's the greatest gift you're ever going to give. So, for Christmas, we're celebrating the gift of that redemption, that promise. What about us? We had our slates wiped clean. And you've already done the work to decide what baggage you're carrying around with you every single day. For the last month, you've been planning it. You've been planning on coming up with a solution, on identifying it, and what you can do about it. Christmas is your chance to do it. Wipe the slate clean. Forgive somebody else. It was impressed upon me that I should pick on John Cope at this point and just say, well, if John ever parked in your parking space, forgive him at this time. We had a really powerful message when we started here about John and Robin having a beef. And Robin called him up and just said, hey, let's talk this out. And from your standpoints, it sounded like after that happened, a weight was lifted off of you. That there was absolute relief. That's what I'm talking about. Now, I know that it sometimes is not that easy. You can't just do it in a month. But, December 25th is a day that you can start to plan. You can start an action. And maybe you need to go with it further than just a phone call or whatever. But start. Jesus gave you everything. What are you willing to do to give a gift of that similar that you can give to somebody else? So, this moves us on to New Year's. And that's about renewing your spirit with no end in sight. So, we think about New Year's, we think about the parties, we think about the gatherings, we think about the joy. We got to think about the renewal. You've done the work for the last over a month. You've cleared the weeds out. You've tilled the soil. You've planted the seeds at Christmas. And now it's time for New Year's to come and for those seeds to take root and for them to grow in your life. As you look forward in your life, you know that this is a continuous process of change, but you've changed yourself already. And you know that within yourself, your family, your community, and your country and the world, the positive changes that you want to see aren't going to continue if you don't move them forward. And this is what New Year's really is. It's a time for us to continue on with what we've prepared for ourselves. It's the first day of doing it forever. And it feels good because it's not an ending. It's not an ending of 1 year. It's the promise of a new year, a promise of a fresh new start for you every single day. So we get to change this perception of the holiday hamster wheel, where we're eating too much, we're spending too much, and then we're doing it again. Because we've renewed ourselves, we're going to get clarity in our life. We're going to get forgiveness, both giving and receiving. We're going to do this every single day. And then we get to do it all over again. how much better would you feel about that cycle instead of going down every single year, of improving yourself and going up? So it's a gift that you can't buy in any store. You can't do anything but just have this within yourself. And it's the best thing you can do, and you can give this every day, all year long. You know, we talk about, I wish this feeling could last forever. This feeling of Christmas, this feeling of Thanksgiving. I wish people acted like that. You can't. It doesn't have to stop. So when you go home today and you look in your pamphlet, maybe you throw it out, maybe not, but remember the words that God has hope for your future. God made these holidays here for you. And I thank you for letting me give you this message. And so we're we're ending with a word of prayer here. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to gather today to hear this message of hope that you have given to us. Please let us reflect upon it and spread your joy throughout our lives, our families, our community, and the world. Continue to be with us, guide us, and direct us. In your name we pray. Amen.